I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. Stop agreeing with yourself. Stop agreeing with yourself.
Hello, and welcome to Glass Half Full Reviews, and I like my mobile phone like I like this movie. A little too much. Today, I will be reviewing the Blu-ray of Her. Technology has often been accused of putting barriers between people, holding back social interaction, and, of course, the terrifying possibility that we've lost control, that it is the machines that control us. People walk around constantly with their faces in their phones and electronic devices, holding conversations with staccatos of text and mostly prosaic and abstract online interactions. Everyone searches for integrity and honesty in every crazy video on YouTube, while simultaneously suspecting them all to be hoaxes. Certainly people will still interact in person, of course, but it's becoming easier and easier to interact through your computer. Barring societal collapse, it does seem plausible that we will only become more immersed and more jaded. Humanity still seeks beauty and safety, while fearing the unknown and the false. But we still want things to be easier and easier still. One of the interesting pursuits of research is in the field of artificial intelligence, that being intelligence, probably on a computer, that can think for itself unbound by the necessities of organic matter to hold them back. Science fiction has come up with all sorts of names for such beings, whether they are called machine intelligent, post-organic, non-organic, etc. But there will always be the sneaking suspicion that an AI is not human like us, whatever that means. Her is the latest from writer-director Spike Jonze, the creator of such similar mind-bending movies such as Adaptation and Being John Malkovich. In the not-too-distant future, Theodore, played by Joaquin, is lonely after being separated from his wife, played by Rooney Mara, as his divorce papers lay nearby, unsigned and ignored. He has an interesting but repetitive job as a writer of personalized greeting cards, where it is clear he has some talent, but no drive. It is just happenstance that a new operating system has just become available and is the latest thing to buy. An OS that can treat you like a real person, not just vaguely advanced voice recognition software. Immediately, Theodore finds himself drawn to the OS, played by the voice of Scarlett Johansson, who decides to call herself Samantha. And despite himself, Theodore becomes increasingly attached to an OS that, for all intents and purposes, seems like a real person. Maybe he's even falling in love. Maybe she's beginning to feel the same way. But as a newly born OS, she's only begun to experience the vast range of experiences, which include not only happy emotions, but dark ones, like sadness, pain, and jealousy. Theodore's ex might be dismissive, and his friend, Amy Adams, or boss, Chris Pratt, might be supportive, but he himself is confused, because in the end, can he really have a relationship with something that exists digitally, but not physically? The end of the year brings often really great movies, often prestige pictures explicitly looking for that awards season. These movies can often be overwrought and overlong, expressly targeting the critics and ignoring the mainstream audiences, so ultimately as cold and calculating as any giant blockbuster. Sometimes we get lucky. Her is one of my favorite movies of 2013. True, not too much in the way of greatness has been out in the first half of last year, but usually it's not quite this clear. There's something about the message of loneliness and technological growth that very specifically speaks to me, but those messages can reach many others as well. This movie can be funny and charming in one scene, then suddenly heartbreaking and intense in the next. There's so much going on and to discuss, I don't want to spoil things for the potential watcher, but there are things I can certainly discuss. The script is light in comparison to some others, but the acting here is some of the best you'll see this year. Joaquin, no surprise, carries this movie visually, showcasing subtlety and heavy emotion in a way like few other actors today. And yet, Scarlett Johansson plays the perfect auditory contrast, perhaps some of the best voice acting in a while for a non-animated feature. It is shockingly easy to imagine Samantha as just as real as any human being, which I suppose is the point. Some of the smaller parts are fine, with Amy Adams doing the third extremely different role after Man of Steel and American Hustle from last year, showcasing an absurd level of talent for someone that good looking. I love the way this movie looks and sounds. It moves along briskly, even though it's a hair over 2 hours long. At the end, you might simultaneously find yourself desperately wondering what could have possibly happened next, but at the same time, thinking, there's no other way it could have ended. And that's a pretty impressive way for a movie to conclude. I found myself completely immersed in the evolving relationship of Theodore and Samantha, which perhaps mirror the possible evolution of humans alongside machines, but perhaps not. There are a lot of ways to look at it. There's so much to love about this movie, and I often say that if something makes me laugh and cry, it's automatically one of my favorites. And that's certainly something that I can say for her. Thanks for stopping by.